Hello everyone, my name is Abigail Van Winkle and I'm going to be covering Module 14, which is Chapter 24, the Narrative Paradigm of Walter Fisher. So I will be revealing the rational world paradigm and the paradigm shift to the narrative paradigm. So to start, the rational world paradigm is a scientific or philosophical approach to knowledge that assumes that people are logical and they make decisions based on evidence and lines of argument. So Fisher lists 5 assumptions for the rational world paradigm. The first one is that people are essentially rational. The second is that we make decisions on the basis of arguments. Third, the type of speaking situation determines the course of our argument. Fourth, the rationality is determined by how much we know and how well we argue our point. And lastly, the world is a set of puzzles for us to solve through rational analysis. So Fisher believes that these assumptions are too limited, thus a paradigm shift happens and you have the narrative paradigm. So the narrative paradigm is theoretically set up the same in terms of framework, except instead of being very objective, it is very interpretive. So the 5 assumptions that Fisher has for the narrative paradigm are that people are essentially storytellers. The second is that we make decisions on the basis of good reasons, which kind of vary depending on communication, social media, things like that. The third is that history, culture, biography, and those kind of things determine what we consider are good reasons. Fourth is that narrative rationality is determined by the coherence and fidelity of our stories. And last but not least, the world is a set of stories, and we choose and constantly recreate those for our own lives. So I'm going to be connecting these terms and concepts to my personal experience with my job. So to start, I am a nanny, and when it comes to child development, if I'm speaking to an ABA therapist, using the rational world paradigm, typically we get together and we make sound arguments based on what we know about the child, what we think is best for him. The speaking situation is obviously very different because she's a professional, and it would be different if I was figuring out a developmental plan for him in a rational world paradigm compared to a narrative paradigm where I might overhear someone talking about a new exhibit at the museum, and the good reasons for that would be that their kid had fun, they had paint, they had a good place to eat for lunch afterwards. So those are 2 kind of different settings and subjects. Using each different paradigm, and that leads me to my inference. So I infer that due to the way we make decisions, that the rational world paradigm has more of a long-lasting impact, and the narrative paradigm is easier to trust and easier to follow through with. Now that I've made an inference, I will give examples of how it can be transformed into other situations. So we accept what is told to us in an academic setting because some of our professors are doctors and they've been doing this for 30 plus years. So the information that they give us and the arguments that they make is easier to accept. However, if someone said they went and had a great place for brunch and the service was great, the food was great, and they had great drink specials, that narrative paradigm that they told us, we would be accepting that based on the good reasons of a good story that they told us. So in conclusion, I've learned that although Fisher prefers a narrative paradigm, I believe there is a reason in place for both paradigms. I hope you learned as much as I did, and I look forward to the rest of the semester.